But first tonight, as we welcome you to the fairest show on television, back to back. Major liberal, even progressive wins in Wisconsin and Chicago in last night's elections. It changes everything Republicans tell us about the political landscape. Chicagoans overwhelmingly voted out liberal Mayor Lori Lightfoot because they thought she was soft on crime, among other grievances. So in response, they have elected Lori Lightfoot on steroids. Literally. Who knew it was possible? But the new mayor, Brandon Johnson, has less use for the police department than Lightfoot did.
My name is Brandon Johnson, and I can't wait to be sworn in as the next mayor of the greatest city in the world, Chicago.
Where he largely wants to defund the police. In Wisconsin, the Supreme Court race, the Badger State elected an openly progressive judge with a very soft record on crime. Both sides made the race a proxy for an upcoming abortion case. Here's one of the state's conservative journalists on the program Monday explaining exactly what was at stake.
This is a battle for the ideological control of the courts. Everything is at stake in this abortion, voter ID, Act 10, which was put in place back in 2010, that eliminated some of the collective bargaining for public employees. That's currently saved taxpayers almost $17 billion. Gun rights are at stake. Pretty much every conservative action that's been taken in the last 25 years, we are looking at probably having overturned.
The liberal wave that everyone said was dead in 2022, remember, Democrats were going to tack to the center. That didn't happen. But that wave is gaining steam. And of course, Republicans have done themselves no favors. For example, here is the Republican candidate in Wisconsin after losing last night.
It brings me no joy to say this. I wish that in a circumstance like this, I would be able to concede to a worthy opponent. My opponent is a serial liar. She's disregarded judicial ethics. She's demeaned the judiciary with her behavior. And this is the future that we have to look forward to in Wisconsin.
With class and grace like that, it is difficult to understand, I know, why he didn't win. But forget the sore loser rhetoric for just a second. He might have a point, and not just in Wisconsin. Last night proved the progressive movement in America is far from dead and might very well define the future. NewsNation political editor Chris Stirewalt is here. Admittedly, this might be a little late to ask you this question because we are leading with this story tonight, but am I making too big of a deal over these wins?
Well, look, these are significant elections. There's no question about it. Chicago is a huge city, and what happens in Chicago is important, and Chicago is a very unhealthy city, and what happens in Chicago has effects for other people. I would sort of be careful about drawing too broad a conclusion about the national political climate based on what happened in Chicago for a lot of reasons, one of which relates to the intense ethnic divisions inside Chicago politics and how things played out along those lines. The Wisconsin case is the Wisconsin result is a big deal, right? Because this function in most states, we don't elect Supreme Court justices. This ended up functioning like a Senate race or like a gubernatorial race. This had high intensity, massive spending, the most expensive judicial election in American history, and the lines were clearly defined. The fight was, look, the Republicans erred, as you alluded to, because they picked a guy who had lost in 2020. They picked him again. He came back. He, as you can tell, is not a gracious person or a good candidate. But what was really being litigated in that was about abortion, first and foremost. So Wisconsin has a law from before the Civil War that's on the books about abortion. The Republicans don't want to bring up the issue to try to pass a new updated version, but pro-lifers on the Republican side, there's a lot of internal pressures on the Republican side about how to address this question. So what is likely to happen is this is going to court, and it's going to probably now be struck down because, as you alluded to, the Democrat I shouldn't say, the Democrat-backed candidate. These are both offices are technically nonpartisan. The Democratic-backed candidate made it very clear that she was there to strike down that case. So it's a big deal. Why not lead with it? It's interesting.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.